Morning, fellow gardeners. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the garden. We put a fresh coat of mulch down, and there's a couple of bare spots, like right over there. There's some seedlings coming up, and I'm yet to identify them, so I'm going to let them grow a little bit, and then I'll cover that as well. But our tomatoes are looking great. This one right here has several blooms on it, and I can't wait until it takes off. And I think that one is a chef's choice. And I have some in the garden that are Big Better Boy and Juliet and different ones. So it's going to be an interesting year. Several varieties of tomatoes and lots of them too. So I've got some over here, and this one in the corner by the stake, it kind of suffered a little bit of frost damage, and so it's having to recoup, but it looks like it's going to make it. Down there I've got some ground cherries. We'll see how well they do. Sometimes they're hard to get going. And I have some leftover radishes in the pool. And then on this row I have some tomatoes and a bunch of kale. And hiding from the sun down in here is a lettuce leaf basil, and I can't wait for that to take off. And I've got some peas that are climbing, and I've got some more peas over here. You can see them blooming. I love the way they bloom and look on the vine. So, and then I've got some bok choy that flowered after it's been providing me with leaves for a while for my lettuce and for my salads, and for stir fry as well. And there's a purple bok choy down in there and a couple of baby ones. And then I'm waiting for my carrots to finish filling out. Hopefully they will. It seems like in South Texas it goes from winter to summer instead of spring. It just skips over spring. So we'll see. And then I've got some better looking tomatoes, some pretty healthy looking ones back in here. I mean, they're just looking really strong, and there's some more on this row, and then some more peas. I've got sugar snap. I've got some sweet tendril magnolia climbing up there, and then I've got some onions down in here. I see I missed a spot with the mulch I gotta get. And then over here I have some more basil. That's new. Another tomato sitting in there. My dill. And then I've got some dahlias and spaghetti squash. I'm going to let them just take out right up the fence there if they will. And then I've got some zucchini. This one is a bush zucchini. And then I've got nasturtiums, and there is a black beauty zucchini right there. Can't wait for these to get big and start harvesting things. Well, we put this up just recently. That there's a T-post there and one there, and then I've got some string in there, and we're going to train this blackberry bush. It's a prime Arkansas blackberry. So let me put that up there on there, and I'll train it better than that, but it needs to go up there. And we may replace the string with some steel so that it like stays there. Just a close-up of some tomatoes for my kids so that they can see. There's your peppers and some tomatoes that are growing in the pot. And an update, a few weeks back I showed a video of taking cuttings off of my fig tree, and if you zoom in there, so you can see a little growth on a couple of them right there and there. So two so far. That one looks like it may take off, so maybe half of them that actually produce, so we'll see. And there's a snail in there, so I need to get rid of him. Back over here, I've got a couple of things on my potting shed, not much like it used to. I'm just using storage down here nowadays, no plants. And there is my my single seed challenge for 2022, my shishito pepper. It seems like it takes peppers just forever to take off. And there's some other random peppers. I'm not quite sure what they are. And then I planted some Market More cucumbers in there, just waiting for those to grow. Now this area over here needs to be weeded, and I'll get around to it. I cut some of my fig tree back that was struggling. It looked like it had some kind of disease on it, so I cut them back so it wouldn't spread to the rest. So it should take over this year. And then there's some lavender, and then there's some calendula in the garden. And this is a crazy celery that's been there since last year. I quit picking things off of it, and I don't know. I understand that you can put the celery leaves in things, different salads. And there's my poor banana tree that froze back, but if you notice, it's struggling, but it's putting off some babies. So we'll get it fertilized and take off. And there's one of our first butterflies of the season, looking for something to eat. So sorry guy, we'll get you something pretty soon. But that's a butterfly bush that I think is on. Maybe she's laying eggs, maybe it's a she. And then I've got some more dahlias over here, and interspersed with a bunch of sunflowers. I think these remember exactly where I had my sunflowers from last year, so my Mexican sunflowers, so we'll have to see about that. So there's a random plant, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it does well every year. And then there's a couple of butterfly bushes that have bounced back. And my poor citrus tree looks like it's gotten eaten on by something. And again, more weeds. And if you look in there, there's a couple of bluebonnet plants, but they're not producing flowers, so we'll see when they come up. Oh, everything in the area has bluebonnets is blooming profusely, so we'll see. And there's some rosemary along with Ruthie checking out the garden with us. And yeah, she should really get it out of the garden. So anyway, over here is a random avocado plant, and this came out of the compost bin. If you notice, there's a tomato plant that volunteered with it, and then there's some more tomato plants. This one was a really nice one from last year, and let's see what, hopefully my little tag will say what it is. No, that is not a Molly's ground cherry, so I don't know what it is, but it produces some nice tomatoes, so I'll identify it once it starts putting tomatoes off. And there's a couple of more orange. These are Cara oranges. And then I've got my rose bushes. And then over here I have my celery, but that's my Chinese cabbage. Anybody have recipes for Chinese cabbage? I would love to have them. And these are some really pathetic looking, struggling with the sun already, broccoli, and I need to pull those, and a couple of cabbages. And these are my Brussels sprouts. And if you look down here, we've got some Brussels sprouts forming. I've already picked some. And then there's my asparagus. It's on its second year, so I have to wait a little while for it. Back over here is my berry garden. It's interspersed with some leftover tomato plants that I have. And there's some strawberries. And there is one of my prime art plants. There's some beans that are planted here, and they will start sprouting soon. And then over here is my most prolific berry patch. I don't know why it does better here as opposed to here. So anyway, and that's it for the garden tour. Well, have a good day. Plant something. It's a beautiful day.